Spoilers ahead, if your skin is this brown, go watch the movie. If it isn't, then get a tan, hippie. I love the Blue Beetle movie. At least, now I do. Didn't want to see it, but Papi insisted. And well, he hunts for food. Gotta give the man his due. As a stick who consumes a lot of superhero media, this is probably the second best superhero movie I've seen this year. That's right, y'all. A borderline hood classic. Let it up, Shaggy. Let it up, Shaggy. Let it up, Shaggy. Let it up, Shaggy. Sadly, not a lot of people see it that way. I'm, of course, referring to the gringo variety. When I took a good look at the critics who weren't able to connect with this film, I was like,
awful lot of honkies in here.
so let me show you the way of the Mohicans, y'all. Let's start the video. Hit it, young daddy. Little known fact about Mexicans, aside from worshipping, we also worship this guy. When I saw Our Lady of Guadalupe all over the main character's house, I was like, woo! Glop, 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 glop. I also loved how they handled the whole working class Mexican feel. People got mad about the whole classism message or whatever, but like, I'm sorry, have you not seen California? It's so cracked out that they named the street after Castro.
It's full of what?
I quite liked how they incorporated the fact that certain family members were illegals. The idea they couldn't get help removing the alien scare because they might get arrested felt very real. Happened to my cousin's family last week. Crazy stuff. And how can we talk about Mexican culture without acknowledging the best Mexican comedian to appear in the film? I'm, of course, referring to Felipe Esparza. Wait, what's that sound? Who's over the clouds? Oh no, no! The characters were so good.
Yum, 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 yum. Delicioso!
The film finally gave me, a Mexican stereotype, role models to look up to. Move over, Cesar Chavez, Father Miguel, Moctezuma. The Blue Beetle has got y'all beat. I was actually quite pleased hearing the working class dad speaking Spanglish, or the grandma being this real kind lady who was tough as nails, or the uncle. Okay, let's talk about the uncle for a second because he's actually a really neat subversion that I hear no one talking about. Stick with me here. So like in a lot of superhero films lately, there's been a trend where the younglings are the super geniuses. Shuri, the kid from Miss Marvel, Ned Leeds, the new Iron Lady, etc, etc. I originally thought the sister was going to be the super genius one because she has sass and she's wearing glasses. But then I realized, oh right, this film wasn't made by Mexicans, it was made by Mexicans. If anyone was going to be the intelligent one, it was going to be the weed-smoking, old foul-mouthed grease monkey uncle who doesn't know what he's talking about. I get that in fictional worlds like this, there'd be an influx of STEM schools everywhere, but like, Blue Beetle took advantage of the fact that superheroes have been around for a long time. A scary long time. It makes sense for the old head Mexican mechanics to create stuff like high-tech EMPs in the garage. If they're able to do this in the real world, then... God, I haven't even talked about the best character. Sanchez. I'm not even joking. My mom and I love this guy so much. Oh, and Cobra Kai Kid did a great job as Blue Beetle. He has serious Tom Holland potential. And now finally, Carapax. My favorite DC villain just for the end scene alone. People critique the fact that he didn't get much screen time, how he was essentially a bootleg Obadiah Stane, but come here. Do you know what I really see him as? Let me explain. Sanchez was a background character before he spoke up like a man and told us his real name. It wasn't something simple like Sanchez, it was much longer than that. Way longer. This implies that he has depth. It also shows that he was gutsy, which makes his death scene a little ironic the more I think about it. And what of Carapax? Wait, what is a Carapax? The story is in the name, people. When Blue Beetle was reading his memories, he was essentially scooping up his innards in the end. Speaking of which, his death scene, man. It wasn't just heartbreaking, it wasn't just loving, it wasn't just spiritual. It was also very funny. And when a film mixes emotions like that, things become eerie real fast. Oop, forgot to mention the most important character in the entire film, Ted Cord. Despite only seeing him in paintings, he was essentially helping in spirit, just like Jaime's father. Except instead of being dead, he's absent. It's as if this film's saying that you can still be there in spirit while you're in the land of the living. Yes, sir, gave the kids whose fathers left for a pack of cigarettes hope. This film really is our Mexican Black Panther.
I be popping bottles, sparkles and champagne. VIP my section, royalty looking sexy, you know that be my name.
Alright, let's address it. How come Jaime doesn't call his family out for killing? Aside from the fact that at this point in the film, his dad died and he wants blood. Papers. The grandma ain't got no papers. My family laughed out loud when I pointed this out. Still though, it would have been nice for them to include a small scene. But I'd be lying when I say that I wouldn't want them to double down in the sequel. Picture this. I would like Jaime to be your typical no-kill hero. After all, they mentioned numerous times he's a lawyer at Gotham University. And as we all know, Batman's a great guy. Especially with the Latinx variety. In the sequel, I would like Grandma to get crazy with her arsenal. Maybe Jaime forces her to use the flash gun, but she gets infuriated to the point where she has a bigger kill count than the Joker. By the way, do Mexican gangsters name themselves after him in that universe? Or give the uncle a mech. And maybe Jaime and his girlfriend can get married and, you know, we could just have an excuse to throw in a shotgun priest in there. It's not a Mexican movie without the shotgun priest. They go together like chocolate and peanut butter. Anyway, I just want the family to be ride or die because there ain't nothing more Mexican than that. Except the shotgun priest. So apparently this film isn't doing well because of Hurricane Hillary. At least that's what Warner Brothers is saying. And honestly, I believe them. I remember my mom saying that this movie's gonna do big in Southern California after watching it. And this was before we learned about the statement. There's also a lot of cynical people influencing others not to go watch it because it's a cynical cash grab, like The Flash. But here's a new concept. How about you actually watch the movie and form your own opinion? While I'm happy that Jaime got his green pass in the brand spanking new DC universe, I can only hope the family manages to migrate over. After all, this movie did a really great job showing that you cannot have one without the other. Is the taco truck open? Whoops, gotta go. Anyway, like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll be making videos more frequently. I don't really know how to end this, review, so, shoot, get lost.